The story winds up being a lot of Flair and Nash. It feels like everybody else is just sort of side players at this point. And on the next Nitro, Flair is going to sign Dustin Rhodes to a contract, but he and Animal attack Rhodes until Dusty comes out to his son's rescue. It's pretty fun. Dusty on TV in 2001. Jarrett and DDP are about to have a match. However, Jarrett wins by countout after the police escort DDP away in handcuffs because he's been fingered, I guess, for assault and battery. In the main event, Nash is going to defeat Totally Buff to get his title shot versus Scott Steiner at Super Brawl Revenge. At this point, did you know where you're going as far as Flair and Dusty and what your involvement was going to be with all that?
Not at all. And for those folks, because when I was going through the notes, I had, again, one of those things went like Totally Buff. Like, what? That is the tag team of the Total Package Lex Luger.
And Buff Bagwell.
Yeah, but that slipped me at first. The first time I read it in the notes, I'm like, I don't. Anyway, so Totally Buff is, Conrad. So first time I met Dusty was in the mid '80s at the Great American Bash, but I was a kid. He probably had no recollection other than that's the promoter's kid over there, whatever it may be.
Little man's kid.
Little man's kid. Yes, that's about it. And then I met him at a would it be NWA or WCW, but late 80s kind of time frame house show. And then, then the next kind of in my mind, working in Texas, the Von Erich, Jarrett promotion, if you will. And Crockett had come by and said, yeah, that's when I found out that Dusty, quote unquote, would love to get Jeff in WCW. And my dad said no, without me knowing. But this is the first time I got to work with Dusty. Like he was there. Hey, we're going to do this. And man, the charisma he's a charmer. No matter where or who he was talking to, the charisma just oozed out. So when he came on the scene, I had no idea where they were going with it, but I was up for it. Again, a guy that my first really taste of the American dream was he was coming in running opposition to my family's promotion. But damn, this dude's charismatic. And I had seen just a tidbit here and there in my dad's office of Florida tapes, and Dusty was on some of them.
It's pretty cool to think that you had this opportunity. I mean, I know you worked with Flair back in 96, but to have the idea that you get to work with Flair and with Dusty here, pretty cool. Let's talk about the match. And this has to be a special spot in your wrestling career when you sit down and talk about what a crazy, strange trip it's been for you. Dusty and Dustin in a tag team to take on Ric Flair and Jeff Jarrett, and Ric Flair's wrestling in street clothes.
Oh boy. Can we ask that?
Huh, what's that?
Well, go ahead. I'll let you get to it because I'll sorry I stepped on top of you. I got comments already, but go ahead.
Go ahead. It's your show, baby.
You know, the biggest letdown
was that he didn't wear the robe and all that.
Yes.
You wanted the full Flair treatment. I
wanted the full Flair Dusty treatment.
Yes.
And the smug and arrogant. And look, at that point, I knew Dusty would be coming out in a pretty much what he came in. That fit him. But I really thought Rick would come out in robe and boots and just everything that went with it. I was so disappointed that he was. I mean, God, he looked like he literally came out of the accountant's social.
No, he looked like he was across the street from the hotel at Bahama Breeze eating some black bean soup in his Hawaiian shirt and slacks and just cruised right over.
Bingo for bell time.
It's unbelievable, but he wrestles this entire match in slacks and a Hawaiian shirt. Tony Schiavone points out, as crazy as this is, that Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair had never faced each other on a pay-per-view. And I know what you're thinking. Well, no, what about Starrcade 84 and 85? That would be correct, but that's before pay-per-view was a thing. Those were closed circuits.
Conrad, that photo that's up right now?
Yes.
You just quickly look. Who's Rick look like? David?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, side profile, especially when he's got the haircut like that.
That's what I'm saying. The haircut and kind of the outfit. But anyhow, go ahead.
Except I don't. I mean, I hate David Flair's guts.
Okay.
Stacy Keibler, come on, man. Piss on him forever. Fans are excited to see Dusty in, especially when he's in there with Flair. Meltzer would say Flair and Jarrett did their job to make Dusty look good, bumping for all of his spots. He did the elbow drop on Flair, but Jarrett saved. Dustin pinned Flair with one of the sloppiest inside cradles ever. After the match, Dusty pulled down his pants to reveal what could be called briefs, but not in his case, and gave Jarrett the Rikishi stink face. And I think this is the same pay-per-view where they had been cutting backstage all day during the show, and we saw him eating a platter of burritos. Well, I mean, you got paid American currency for this. Other people are digging ditches and walking tight ropes, and I mean there's people scaling buildings to clean the windows, and here you are having Dusty Rhodes eat burritos and rub his underwear asshole in your face. And that's what you do for a living, Jeff. You have the most interesting job in the world, my friend.
Where is this? Jacksonville, if I remember correctly, I think.
Well, you never forget a place where you stick your nose where it don't belong.
But the people, and look, the context of Rikishi and the stink face and the kiss your ass club. I wish I knew better context on that. But in the arena,
Yeah, Jacksonville, you're right. 5,030 fans are there at the Coliseum.
The people, I mean, they ate it up, and that's why I thought it was Jacksonville, but it's Florida. Dusty super over, going back generations. They absolutely loved it. I mean, so entertaining. And Dusty, everything he did when he got in the ring, he had the people eating out of the palm of his hand. It's just, oh boy, I'll sound like such a.
No, listen, we like that. We like that real version of you. I mean, we got to see that a little bit after Rick's last match. You did that interview in the hallway outside of your dressing room at Municipal Auditorium, and you were emotional about, it was Rick's last match. And I wondered, did you get that same level of emotion after your nose had been all the way up Dusty's asshole in Jacksonville, Florida?
No, what I was going to say, asshole, no, is that Dusty physically did so little, but it's like, how do people, I say people, how do talent nowadays miss the opportunity to figure out how can I emotionally connect with this audience? Not because they're lazy and don't want to do high spots and don't want to work. And I'm not saying any of that. I'm talking about take your relationship, which will take your career to another level. Take your relationships with the fans and figure out how to connect. Now, Dusty had to do that because he had to draw money, because if he didn't draw money, he wouldn't be booked, period, like so many others. But, at this stage, Dusty is way past. I mean, he did the same bionic elbow. He did all of his stuff, but my gosh, had the people eating out of the palm of his hand, down to, hey, I'm going to pour my drawers down, show my big fat ass in enormous red briefs, and I'm going to entertain them this way.
It worked.
Classic Dusty, man. Classic.